Welcome to the Arsenal Show. We are live, and it's the post-match reaction of Arsenal's 1-0 loss to Aston Villa. Abject, flat for large periods of the game. Frustrating, to say the least. It was a performance to forget. I wouldn't say it was the worst performance we've had, but against an Aston Villa side who've got an early goal and decided to defend the majority of the game and to hit us on the break, I just felt we needed more. I just felt everything just needed a bit more. And it just overall, it just wasn't good enough against the Villa side, who were good, but come on, people talking about this Villa side winning the league, it's not even close. And that's not to take anything away from Aston Villa, and that's more of a dig about our performance today. I'm joined by Steve K. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, how you doing, mate? Good evening, everybody. Yeah, mate, look, that, no way of dressing this up, really. For me, it was really disappointing. We seem to lack conviction. We seem to lack fight against a team that, for me, ain't all that. Ain't all that.
There was a lot of talk about Villa, weren't there?
Yeah. I've heard, I've listened to radio. I've listened to, certain people give their views on them, and, Sky Sports, Talk Sport, pundits. And this is the first time I've really seen them over 90 minutes. And if that's a team that's going to win, they ain't getting Champions League. I tell you that now. They're not. They're not. I mean, I'll say to Villa fans, enjoy your ride while you can. Because, look, Mo's done a great job. But look, it's not about them anyway. We don't care about them. It wasn't good today. I thought we, it looked like, they'd come off of their Christmas office party last night to me. They just didn't look like we come out of the blocks.
But they knew it's a very strong Villa side who were in the best form team in the league, haven't lost at Villa Park in 14 games. In fact, it's 14 straight wins, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, so you would have thought we would have come out of the box fine, but we come out, like there was lead in our boots. It's as if or cement in our boots. It was just, it was poor. And, there's not many good things I've got to say about really anybody on that pitch. There was a couple of players who, who I'll mention did well, but most of them just didn't look bothered tonight. They just didn't look, they just didn't get started. It's just, and I think the disappointment comes from that, Villa were there for the taking. To me, they just, they wasn't much better than us. They got the 1-0 goal. That was due to a poor, Arsenal just really not coming out of the box. We see it last season, not starting well, leaving players short on that left-hand side, and they get the goal. And pretty much after that, Villa were sort of like, non-existent. And you're waiting for Arsenal to take the game to them and do something. Yeah, we looked the better side, and we was getting in areas at times. But there was just no punch. There was no punch. It was like when we got to the final third of the pitch, it was like there was nothing there. There was nothing there. Pad of puff shots. Look, we'll get to the players and what I think of them. And yeah, I think after that game, look, it's only one game. I'm just glad to get the game out of the way. We're still sitting second, 1 point off the top. So there's no immediate panic here. Do you know what I mean? We just need to go away, go home, and get back to training bag and start again against Brighton next week. There's nothing bad here. But looking at the sides, that are in this league so far this season and watching them, there's a massive opportunity for Arsenal to go and win that title. So they should have gone out there today thinking, let's go and get another 3 points on the board. Especially the way Villa started. Yeah, okay, look, they scored after 5 minutes, but they did nothing through the whole game, Villa. They were poor. They were poor for me. They're doing nothing this season, I'm telling you. So that was the disappointment. That was the frustration. That's where a lot of anger comes in from my point of view with 80% of the players there today who just did not look at it and did not look like they was pushing themselves enough. And that's not good enough. Whether that's something to do with Arteta not on the sidelines, I don't know. I like to think not. But there's a few players on that pitch today that really should be taking a look at themselves tonight, and be doing double training when they get to Colney on Monday, because that wasn't good enough. That was poor.
Yeah, it wasn't good. There was a few performances that it just left me frustrated. It just felt like we were getting to a certain point, and there was a real lack of end product throughout the game, from any of the forwards, whether it was a poor touch, whether it was the bad pass, whether it was just not taking on your man, and when you did, you were just running into him. It was just a very, very frustrating game. I'll go to the comments in a second, but let's start off. Let's get to the player ratings. Simon says, not many people are going to say this, but the manager needs to take the blame for the result tonight. I don't understand why he took off Martinelli and Jesus when chasing a goal. We're causing Villa problems in the second half. Taking them both off didn't help. Helped Villa defensively. As much as Villa are a good team, they're not a threat to anyone. 60 minutes in this game, and it was their feet. In the past 3 games, they've taken a lot out of them. They'll be 7th or 8th soon. There's some I agree with, some of I don't. I look, Martinelli wasn't great, but Trossard was worse. And we would only find out Trossard was worse by taking Martinelli off. There's not anything in my mind now where I would ever take off Gabriel Jesus for Eddie Nketiah. That is not something that would ever cross my mind unless there's an injury. Jesus wasn't his best today, but I've watched Eddie Nketiah in his last 3 games, and he doesn't seem like he's bothered. It's not like he's not bothered. It seems like he's hit a wall, whether that's a wall of ability, whether he's getting frustrated and he feels like he should be playing more, and he's a bit like, I need more. I can't just be the guy that comes in and is expected to bag goals every 1-3 games when I come on for 10 minutes. But that is you, Eddie. Unfortunately, you're not good enough to lead the line at Arsenal on a full-time basis. So that is you. So when you come on, you've got to make a difference. In the last 3 games, I'm watching him, and it's not even someone that's busting a gut to make a difference. And I know that's Eddie's base level. He's work hard, and you'll find opportunities. I ain't even seeing that out of him at the moment. And that's a worry. That's a worry for me. There's a lot of frustrations today. It's just, I don't know. We'll go on to the player ratings, and then we'll go through the players there and discuss it. Starting off with the goalkeeper, David Raya didn't have too much to do, a couple of saves, but I thought Villa were very, very quiet up top.
Yeah, I think that just goes to show what we were saying at the beginning of the show, where we were saying Villa just weren't all that, and the frustration comes from Arsenal just not taking advantage of Villa just not at the races, and look, what we're doing now, I think, is we're talking about standards now that where Arsenal are. We're a higher standard than we was last year, and we were a higher standard than we was obviously the 2 years before Arteta come. Right, we have to talk about like where we need positions, and where we need to where we need to go.
It needs to be bettered. Yeah, I agree.
It needs to be bettered. We're not, we were great last season, and there was players in certain positions that were great.
Yeah.
But what we got to talk about now, especially even when we're doing ratings, we got to start talking about players that we're going to need to go and take us to win the Premier League title, right? Who's going to take us to win, a Champions League, and this is, sometimes you base your ratings and you base your opinions on where you are at the time. We've got to start basing our ratings and opinions on the fact that we want to be winning the Premier League title and the Champions League. And if players are not coming up to that standard, then for me, they're getting a low mark. And we should be able to criticise them more, not because they're bad players and they've let Arsenal down in the past.
No, we expect more.
Just because we expect more, mate. Yeah, exactly that. But yeah, look, David Raya, he wasn't at fault for the goal. He made a couple of decent saves. His distribution was good. So he's one of the players that can sit in the dressing room after the game and be quite happy with his performance. So yeah, give him a 7. He didn't do nothing wrong.
7 for David Raya. William Saliba.
Yeah, Jamie Carragher said he had a great game. I didn't think he was that great. I thought he was going over the top a bit. I thought he was going over the top. Similar to what we was just saying, by the sort of standards we've sort of William Saliba. Saliba's great. He's been brilliant today. He didn't have to be great or brilliant today.
He didn't.
He didn't do nothing. He didn't have to do anything. I don't know. This is Jamie Carragher, Champions League winner. Oh, stop talking nonsense, mate. Do you know what I mean?
People do it because he's in fashion at the moment.
Yeah, well, we don't. Don't try and fool me. Don't try and insult people like me, that you Arsenal fans' intelligence, by trying to get on our side. We know if one of our top players has had a good game or a decent game or a bad game. Look, he was all right. He was okay. He was okay. He done a bit of a dodgy ball in the first half, which was un-Saliba-like. But he wiped. He got on with it in the end. So yeah, I don't think he was too much to blame for the goal. Probably maybe a couple of other players more so to blame. Maybe 3 players to blame, but he probably wasn't the one. So I'll give him a 6. I wasn't majorly. He did all right.
I think you're going to find it hard for people to give Saliba a low mark no matter what. But Saliba's in the last 3 weeks has not been at his best. I won't say he's not been poor. I won't say he's not been great, because I think that's probably harsh. He's not been at his best. And I personally think he's probably got an injury, because you don't usually see Saliba dropping form. And especially over the amount of games I've seen this kind of performance from him. I feel like he's picked up a knock and he's just going with it like he did last season, when you started to see a few not bad performances, but just not as sharp, not as good. He's having to have an extra touch here and there, getting caught on the ball. I'd be interested to see if there's some injury news to come out in the coming weeks, because Saliba's not been the same in recent weeks. And I'd agree. I think probably a 6 is fair. I saw a couple of things which I thought were a bit dodgy from Saliba today. I do think people will just give him a 7 just because it's William Saliba. Gabriel.
Yeah, but Gabriel, he's been a little bit sloppy at times. Was he at fault for the goal? I've watched it back a couple of times. I don't know. We got caught again. We seem to get caught, and maybe he could have got across a bit faster. I'm picking a little bit here. He was a little bit sloppy at times. He wasn't great. At the same time, he was strong in tackles at points when we needed him. It depends how much I blame him for that goal. Was he involved in the goal? Again, I probably he was in there, but probably 2 other people, probably more so to blame. So I'm going to give Gabriel a 6. A 6.
6 for Gabriel. 2 people that probably didn't shine themselves in light today was the fullbacks. We'll start off with, where is he? Zinchenko.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we was just saying a little while ago about standards. That he's not good enough defensively. Simple as too many mistakes now. It's not one or two; it's 5 or 6 or 7. Where we've had to call Zinchenko out defensively. Look, I thought first half he was caught 2 or 3 times. He definitely got caught. Whether you can blame him or not, because he's like he was in the he's asked to go into the inverted midfield role, and then it's obviously then they're saying, well, is it down to Gabriel to get across? Is that a reason why Timbers was playing in front of Gabriel? Because he's quicker. Because I don't know. But look, Zinchenko, conversations got to be had. He's look, second half on the ball. I thought he was good. I thought he was second half. I thought when he's on the ball, he's fine. But every once or twice he loses the ball. He can't afford to lose the ball, and he gets his caught out. And that's the type of thing we can't have that anymore. We can't have someone who plays on that left hand side who's going to give the ball away as much, and there's not a 7 out of 10 defensively every week. So yeah, he was good the second. I did think he was a lot better in the second half, mainly because I don't know, they didn't do nothing, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm a little bit sort of like stuck, because I'm trying to think whether was it his fault because he got caught? He gets caught in the inverted midfield role. Is he not told to do that? And then it breaks down, and then he's stuck in the midfield. So are we being too harsh on Zinchenko a little bit, especially for this goal? It's an hard one to mark this, because I thought he was all right the second half, because he was bringing the ball forward and passing was good. I'm going to give him a 6, but for his second half performance. But I don't think he can be a left back long term. I think for the standards we want to be at, I think we need someone like Timber probably in there at left back, because he just makes too many mistakes.
Yeah, it's getting to that point. It's like the thing is with Zinchenko, since he's come back from his injury and Tomiyasu was taking his spot, Zinchenko came back in, and defensively he's been pretty sound. And probably more so defensively than going forward. In fact, I've probably seen him less forward and more sitting in and playing well. So it is annoying when he gets done by pretty simple things. He seems to be getting done by a drop of the shoulder, and then he gets sent. He gets completely sent. And it just creates such a gaping hole that it always ends up being a chance or an opportunity for the other team. We are getting to that point. It's one of those things. It's like, what do you do? Do you move him into midfield? Do you have him as your a rotation squad player? Do you look to get in someone who's more defensive? Where does it go? What do you do?
I think we used him. Pep Guardiola used him. He used him as that player who he played every now and then to give the other left back a rest every now and then. And when someone's injured, you had someone to come in who was, more than capable of playing well against any team in Europe. And that's what Pep had Zinchenko, and Man City fans loved him. So I think that's the way we use him as our, he can still be that left back inverted midfield player. But I just don't think he can be that starter. I think hopefully Timber's that person. And I think that's why we bought him, because he played there all pre-season. He played there in the Community Shield. He played there in the first game against Forest where he got injured. So I think hopefully Timber will come in and make that position his own, and be a little bit stronger defensively and quicker at getting back. And then what that does, it helps Gabriel out more, because Gabriel's, I suppose he's not the quickest on his feet. He's a strong, tough, hard, win things in the air, strong in a tackle, good passer of the ball. But he's got a fault. It's probably his pace and he isn't pacey. So if you're going to ask Gabriel to sort of, get Zinchenko out of a hole with his pace like today and get across quick, he's going to need someone quicker to help him, to get back from that inverted midfield role. And Zinchenko don't seem to be doing it, but Timber's quick, very fast. So hopefully he will be able to do that. Because we've let so many goals in over that side, so many. But that's how I think going ahead we've got to use him.
All right. So what did you give him?
I'm going to give him a 6. I thought he was good the second half, and I can't make my mind up whether, it's but the fact that he just can't get back is a problem.
Yeah, that's maybe why in the previous 3 games, maybe he's sitting in a bit more. But it can't be like that. We can't take away from one to give to the other. We need the players fullbacks that are going to go forward and get forward and get back as well, and are defensively sound. It's just the standards we've got to expect. This is not a Zinchenko slander because I've got a lot of time. No. It's very frustrating. What Stu Merck say? He says if only Arsenal had signed McGinn, but they put their peas in that gammon Inglard false hope in Rice. What are you talking about? You'd rather have John McGinn over Declan Rice. What the hell? You must be joking. How you doing? Good to see you. Keep getting your comments in. Keep getting your comments in. Smash that like and smash that subscribe if you are new to the show. Ben White, I thought he wasn't close enough to his man on that first goal. There's no way we should be getting done by John McGinn turn and shoot.
Yeah.
That's going to give me nightmares.
Yeah.
I watched it over and over again, and it's not a sharp turn. He turned like a 406 bus. And then he's got the shot off. It's a good finish, good goal from John McGinn, but you have to look at the defence. The thing is, of what when watching it, you see Ben White follows his man. He knows McGinn's there. He's followed him in. He's marking him well, but then McGinn's just pulled off. And at that split second, when Ben White goes to look behind, McGinn's got that bit of space, and he puts it in the goal.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with everything you said, mate. Just very, he turned way so easy. Ben let him. He obviously came across. See the run. Thinking for that. He got in position, and then Ben White just switched off, and just let him. He was right next to him, but then all of a sudden, John McGinn had like a yard of space in the 6-yard box, and that's just not. It's not good enough. Again, it's not good enough. And we're talking standards here now. Ben was great last season, brilliant. We came close to winning the title with him. Fantastic, Zinchenko. But it's no coincidence that Arsenal are seriously linked with new left back on. Timber we've already put, but another right back. There's no, and it's strong links to another, very strong links to another right back, and it stands out a mile. You can see it. And look, but that was poor from Ben White. That was poor. But the first half, going forward, I thought he was doing all right. I thought he played quite well going forward. He got forward well, and him and Xhaka was linking up well at times. But then the second half, where he just switched off. It just stopped, and then everything was going down Zinchenko's side. And what was weird about that, Martinelli was this don't make sense. So whether there was some other kind of tactic, but Ben, sort of, terrible mistake. He should have done much better for the goal. Decent going forward at times. But second half, just absolutely non-existent. Absolutely non-existent. So, 5 tonight, Ben. Sorry, mate.
All right, Ben White gets a 5 from Steve. Declan Rice.
Not his greatest game tonight, mate. not his greatest game. Caught off the ball a couple of times. Couldn't get going. He tried to do his thing. He wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the Declan Rice I don't think that we've seen. Since he came to the club, I think this was probably one of his poorest of game because, as I say, they weren't great in that midfield, and I just don't think we took advantage of it. And I'm going to give Declan a 6, mate. I don't. He'll probably get an 8. He put from everywhere else because it's Declan Rice, but I just didn't think he was all that tonight.
I didn't think he was. I don't think he was great today.
Silly booking as well.
Yeah, sloppy at points. You can always get a solid work rate from Declan Rice, but from what we've seen this season, we expect more than that now. I think that's what we expected when we first came in was someone who's going to be buzzing around the pitch, but he's got more quality than that, and he's shown that since he's been here this season. But he didn't have that extra bit of quality tonight.
I think what you've got to look at Aston Villa's performance, right? And Aston Villa were, for me tonight, poor. They never offered nothing. They got the goal, but apart from that, they really offered nothing. There's not once they came forward and I thought, they're going to score. Right, so then you look at our midfield and think, we must have made loads of chances and you can't think of any. It wasn't really a time where we controlled that midfield and sort of we're bursting through it like we've done, other times this season. Look, it's I'm sure next week, we'll be back to normal again, but today, no, I don't know what was the matter. It's I'm sure they went to an office party last night. The Arsenal party or Christmas party, but not good enough today. 6.
Kai Havertz.
I thought he did all right. I thought he was one of our better players. I thought I can remember him winning the ball in the middle of the park. I can remember him actually showing some fucking balls and getting stuck in. Do you know what I mean? Which I like to see. He was obviously unlucky with the goal. He played some lovely through balls.
What was your take on that? Because I don't know what the referee saw where he's saying, because it hit his shoulder at first, not handball, and then the amount of bouncing around in and around where it come off his stomach, it come off his leg, it come off Matty Cash, and I'm looking at it, I'm like. And then the way that Carragher is talking and saying, that point there is where it hits his hand. I'm like, what? What? That's what the referee saw. I'm not sure. And if he's claiming that it was a handball from Kai Havertz, then surely it's a handball from Matty Cash as well.
Well, that's it. I mean, the hand. I mean, if there's anything on Arsenal favour there, I mean, Cash has handled it and pushed it onto Havertz's hand. So, is it a penalty?
Brushed.
It be the penalty?
Brushed. Barely. So close as well. So close. The ball's bounced off his Cash's stomach and has apparently hit Havertz's top of his hand. It had no bearing on where the ball. It didn't stop it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Hard. Yeah. Harsh. Yeah. Harsh. Yeah. Harsh.
No, I'd say I liked Kai Havertz's performance today. As I said, I don't remember him doing too much wrong. He played some lovely through balls into the channels, which our forwards, just didn't. It wasn't they was bad balls. They just didn't make the most of them. I think it was a couple of times he played some really good balls. Thought he was strong in the midfield at times. Was winning the ball back well. And I'll tell you what, he gets in some lovely spaces. Finds himself some. He's a very clever footballer, and I've probably one of our better players. Maybe even if not the best player on the pitch today, because I thought he was dangerous. I thought give him the ball more. So I'm going to give Kai a 7. So he looks like he's finally coming into some to some form. And I loved that at the end there. And I heard like Carragher again, oh, what's she doing going into Martinez and all that? You know, why is he get squaring up to him? It wasn't nothing, was it? Do you know what I mean?
Do you mean, why is he square?
He just
This
stood,
is
he just
Jamie
stood up to him,
Carragher.
man.
This is Jamie Carragher we're talking about.
Idiot.
Some of the hypocrisy. This is Jamie Carragher we're talking about. What Jamie Carragher was the kind of footballer that when it went down, he weren't getting involved. When it was backing his teammates, he weren't. Get out of it, Jamie. What are you talking about? It's part of being a teammate. It's part of being in a team.
Yeah. No, you know what it was. I know what annoyed Kai Havertz. I know what annoyed him. Right, Martinez, right, who was absolutely shite. Actually, today I thought he was. You know, I didn't think he was. He was
great.
in
his foot. I was like,
yeah. I mean, and he had the cheek to say, "Oh, Arsenal sold the wrong goalkeeper." You ever taking the piss or what? Right? Kai Havertz got the arse basically because Martinez was just doing his usual, crying his eyes out, rolling on the floor. I've hurt me eye. Oh, I've hurt me scar. Does it every time. So Havertz give him a whack. Good. He deserved it. You know, I'm all for that. Do you know what I mean? And Martinez don't like it, then you know, I don't care. But yeah, I like to see a bit of that. Don't mind it. But yeah, look, 7 out of 10 for Kai Havertz.
7 for Kai Havertz. Martin Odegaard.
Oh mate, again, I felt let's talk about Martin Odegaard standards. By Martin Odegaard standards tonight, mate, he was awful. I just didn't think he was good at all tonight. We say all the time in Martin Odegaard that look, he gets the ball, he passes it, but mate, he was sloppy today. You know, I was looking couple of times. The ball was given away, and I had to like, is that Zinchenko's done that? You know, just passing it literally to the Aston. And I'm looking and I'm thinking, God, it's Odegaard. You know, and he offered really nothing when he got in 3 positions. He should have had that trick today, Odegaard. Powder puff shots. You know, and look, we'll get to something the forward line in a minute, but for me, he should have scored at least a couple of goals today, Odegaard. You know, it's just not sitters, but in one-on-ones with a goalkeeper, he had to pull it just one side or the other side.
Yeah, the first one where he took about 4 or 5 touches in and around the area, and then just opened up, and it was like, at that point there, you've opened up so much to put it in that corner, put it in the other corner, and then Martinez was able to make a simple save from it. It was just like, just too much.
He was getting in. He was getting in the positions. Do you know what I mean? He got in the right positions. He's always switched on. His mind. He knows where to go. He knows what to do. Yeah. But some of his passing today as well was terrible. And yeah, I mean, he should have scored. You know, there was 3, as I say, there was three opportunities where I sort of leant forward in my chair just to say that this is the equaliser, and 3 times it was like, oh, what was that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, just powder puff shots.
Yeah, the second one where Kai Havertz has set him up.
Yeah, that's it.
He's bounced. It's bounced wide. Oh, that's bad. That's so poor, because that's a lovely ball in from. Yeah, there's a bit of a bounce in it, but look, Martin Odegaard is good enough to hit a ball on the volley. Martinez is getting nowhere near that.
No.
Look, I just want to go. I just want to pull this up. I have to pull this up because this is racking my brains. Where did the referee see the handball from Kai Havertz? I just need to know, at what point did he see this handball from Kai Havertz? Because he blew up very quickly. Hits Matty Cash's hand there. That hits his chest. That's the handball that he's talking about. Like, let's go over that again.
So that's his chest. That's his chest.
That's the handball he's talking about. Steve, that's what I'm talking about. Look, Matty Cash's hand. That hits Matty Cash's hand.
Yeah.
That hits his chest. That's the handball that he's talking about. That is crazy. Matty Cash's hand. Havertz's chest. That's the handball, and then he scores. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That cannot. The referee has made that decision for me based on it hitting the shoulder first. It's there. That's where I think the referee's blown up. He's blown up because where? Unless you're guessing. Nah, I'm sorry.
I don't know, mate.
How they've come up with that decision there. I don't know when it's come up. And VAR looking at it, they're not gonna turn it over because they're gonna say it's not clear and obvious. And look, that's where the gaps are in the process. Is it's subjective once you go. It's not clear and obvious. But because what does clear and obvious mean? I've seen ones where they're quite similar to what the referee's chosen, and then they've overturned it. So
there must be some kind of like, whether it was or whether it wasn't, because it took a long time for them to, come to the conclusion that it was, it was handball. So, but look, VAR referees, how can we go on about it? How long can we talk about it? I mean, basically an absolute farce. It's a joke. VAR's a joke. Referees ain't good enough. Arteta's sitting in the stand tonight because he celebrated.
Was it so over the line?
Exactly. He gets a booking. Ayew gets sent off today for like the most ridiculous thing for nothing.
Yeah.
And I see a game earlier where someone literally got taken out. Studied, and then nothing happens, and it's like, and there's a guy earlier in the Palace game, who's got booked, who's sent off for like 2 stupid yellows, and it's like, what are you doing to our game? You're just ruining the game, and mate, it's just it's not good.
In the standards of the referees in England, big time. Simon says, not to mention Jesus tackled the box in the box. Douglas kicks under his foot.
That was the one
against Liverpool last season. So what's the difference? And I think someone mentioned it. Jamie Carragher said it today because he saw something in the Liverpool game where he said that's got to be a penalty because we saw that earlier in the game, and then it wasn't a penalty. He goes, the reason
this is what I mean.
It's very similar in the Liverpool game.
Yeah. I don't know.
What did you give Odegaard?
5.
5 for Martin Odegaard. Performances recently or this season been very up and down for Martin Odegaard. Bit of consistency from the captain is definitely needed.
As I say, standards now, mate. It's standards now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It's like we expect certain standards now from players. So if you're playing a 9 1 week and you're playing like that against what I thought was a poor Aston Villa side, then you can only be marked low. You can't be giving 7s. I know people will, but you can't.
No, I've seen Odegaard because I think because Odegaard was involved in quite a few of the goal scoring opportunities, he's getting a lot of low marks from people. I've seen people giving him 2s.
Have they?
Yeah. Martinelli.
One of his best games. But no different from any of the others, really. He causes problems, doesn't he? He got behind. There was times where he got behind 2 or 3 times today with balls from Kai Havertz. Played through to him. Was at times Zinchenko played through, especially the first half, and he's finishing final ball, or his finishing's just wasn't there. He was like, sometimes he tries to do much, to do too much, because every time he got the ball, you always like, wow, something's going to happen here. What's going to happen? But I'm going to give him a 6. But one thing that does frustrate me. I mean, he could be anything, Martinelli. He could be. He could be world class. Do you know what I mean? He's not there yet, but he could be. But he really, really, really frustrates me the amount of times he goes over and falls on the floor and is riling around when he's not even been touched. And he does that thing, doesn't he? Straight away, the arm goes up. And I'm like, I sort of looking up at the air, my eyes sort of roll. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, not again. You're the only one that does it, mate. but maybe being harsh, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just does that too much. But look, I'm going to give him a 6.
I thought it's for me with Martinelli. It's just end product. I think he's been playing all right recently. It's just his end product. He's been frustrating. In some games, he's been absolutely unstoppable, outstanding, but he hasn't been able to put any stats on the board because his finishing's not been great, or the final ball's not been great. Or to be fair to him, the other week people weren't on the end of his final ball. But it just needs to be more consistent. It's
frustrating, isn't it?
It is frustrating because we know how good he is. When all these players are on form and in sync, we are untouchable. Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a bit similar to Martinelli, may just not. Do you know what I mean? He just didn't do enough for me. Didn't do enough. Again, there was a poor Aston Villa side, and he just didn't. He didn't do enough. I can't think of much that that he did. He had a couple of shots. One shot where I think I thought he should have scored. He cut him from the left hand side of his left foot, and I thought I think Martinelli made quite an easy save, but just needed more. Disappointing because I thought he could have had them on toast today. But
I think more so the Luca Dean, because Luca Dean is more of an attacking fullback, but he's not been as good attacking since he's left Everton in my eyes. And I thought that Saka, there was a couple of times early on where I thought Saka could have him today.
Exactly.
Have Dean today, could rip him up, and he didn't. He didn't.
No.
Dean would have panicked. He was on a yellow card as well. And it's probably with age, because I think in 2 or 3 years' time, when you have these players, they're a lot wiser. So when they see a player like Dean get injured, get a yellow card, they're doing everything they can because he's going to get sent off in this game. They're running at him. They're not cutting in. They're not dropping off, cutting in, looking for the pass inwards. They're going down the flank, even though they know they're not necessarily going to be crossing the ball and putting it into the box constantly, because that's not their game. Them being down an extra man is going to benefit us a lot more. So let's spend this next 10 minutes just constantly be at them. Get down that flank, press him, get some corners, get some throws, get some free kicks, and you'll get a yellow card. You'll put the pressure on. I think we just got to be a bit smarter sometimes. Just be smart. Yeah. Just be a bit more cute when it comes to those dark arts. They're there for a reason.
Yeah, I think there's a reason for it. I think there's a reason why Saka and Martinelli ain't. Well, I'll come to it in a minute, but yeah, I think you're right. I do agree with everything you said, but but 6 again today, just not good enough. Not good enough. It wouldn't be so bad if Aston Villa were coming at us, firing at us, controlling the midfield, but they were just saying to us, "Come on, come and
we had nothing."
And we had nothing. And we had nosh.
And the thing is, I think you was right. Martinez was poor today. He wasn't great. He was poor. There was a ball that went under his foot. There was a ball that came for he clearly feels it when he plays us, because he wants to do better. He wants to show that they got rid of the wrong keeper. But he flapped at a ball, which nearly led to their goal, hit the post, come off the back of Ollie Watkins. Then he decided to have a go at Ollie Watkins when it was him who came out for the ball and pushed it onto Ollie Watkins' back, and it hit the post. Poor keeper, poor keeping. Ball ran out under his foot. We didn't test Emi Martinez, and I think he was there for the taking today. Poor.
Yeah.
Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah, now it'd be interesting to see what you think, and what people in the comments think about Jesus. But I've come away from watching that game today shaking my head and thinking maybe we do need a striker, a killer in that box. But then I sort of quickly changed. I think, no, this don't get too carried away, Steve. It's just one bad performance. Look at Man City this season; they're having bad performances. But so we'll give him benefit of the doubt. But I just didn't think he'd give us anything today. I thought he was popping up in positions I didn't want him to pop up in. There was times where he was giving the ball away, falling over and trying to get free kicks when it was, look, I'm an Arsenal fan and I'm screaming for free kicks every time we get fouled, but there was a couple where he was trying to get free kicks and I'm like, what are you doing? It's a bit embarrassing, mate. That's not a free kick, you're diving. And look, you can dive, you can do those stuff, you can do the dark arts like you were just saying, but back it up in the rest of the game. Score a couple of goals or score a goal or create a winner. Don't do it when you're when you're playing bad and you're not contributing to the game and you're doing that, because that's not going to sort of certainly impress people like me. When he came off, it didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me. But then I've just thought, you've gone off. Who's coming on? You think, well, Eddie Nketiah's coming on. You think, well, and then it goes back to our conversation we've had on the show recently, where we've said that we need a killer, or we need another striker in the window, whether he's a starter or whether he's a someone who can come on and score a goal or cause the other team problems or change it up. But yeah, look, I'll be really interested in the comments. I'll be really interested in what you got to say on this one. But mate, I personally, again, looking at standards and because I know what he can do as well. I know, and he's been good recently. Today, he frustrated me, and I thought he was poor. So he was unlucky with the free kicks with a penalty, but yeah, I'll give him. Yeah, I'll give him a 5, just a 5. But I thought maybe even lucky to get a 5 because I don't remember him offering any. He's our centre forward. He's the guy who should be getting us goals, and the man who we look like. He's the man who's going to beat Villa today. He's the man who's going to take us back to the top of the league. And against a poor Villa side and a poor Villa defence and a poor goalkeeper, he never showed. He never did it. Never did nothing. Don't remember a shot.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
So it's got to be probably a 4 is fair. Probably a 4 is fair.
He had an opportunity to get through on goal, but it was a terrible, terrible touch. Look, the striker situation, it is frustrating, but I just think back to Havertz the other day. I mean, Jesus the other day. And that's the Jesus which we know we can get on a more regular basis. Yeah. Last season, at the start of last season, there's no reason why we can't get that again. He just needs to stay fit and be a bit more consistent. And hopefully he doesn't get in his head like he did last season when he was hit a bad patch of form for not scoring goals. Because the other day I thought he was excellent. A goal and 2 assists. And even then people were pointing at Declan Rice as the best player on the pitch because he scored the goal, the winning goal. And forget about the work rate and all that Jesus put in. I don't think he had that today. I don't think he was at the races today. I'm going to put it down to a bad game, a one-off. But yeah, it wasn't good, and it is one of them situations. But what I do say is in those games, because everyone has them, the fullback is to put in Eddie Nketiah, and we need to bring him better than that now. That's where I am. I'm not at let's replace Jesus first. I'm at let's replace Nketiah because we've gone over
without doubt.
And again, gone back, gone forth, gone back, seen Eddie score a hat trick and gone, do you know what? Actually, he could be an option to that person. And then you see him for the next 3 or 4 games. I'm not even seeing effort anymore. I think
we praised Eddie Nketiah last season, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were against him, and I think we was rightly stuck by him, right, last season. I thought he got some unfair criticism last season, Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah.
But like I said quite a few times on today's show, right? We would now have gone up another standard. So now Eddie, you know, we've brought in Kai Havertz, we've brought in Julian Timber, we've brought in Declan Rice. You know, we're going to this different level now. Now, are you up? Now, there's a test for you, Eddie. Are you at this level now? Are you at that Champions League level? And I don't think he is. He isn't. He's not. And but that's not to say we was wrong about him last season. You know, we was right. He did well at that level for not winning us a league title. He was, you know, he got goals. You know, so when the pressure wasn't, you know, that on him, if you like. But obviously in training week after week now, you know, he's seeing what Declan Rice can deliver. He's probably seeing what Kai Havertz and these other players deliver. Arteta's probably now telling them, look, we was okay. This is now, but this is what we want to do now because I want you to do this. I want you to do that. And Eddie can't do it. He's not at that level. And probably we could say the same about Reece Nelson. You know what I mean? They're not there. They're not good enough to be able to come on
and make a difference.
Yeah, in a semi-final of a Champions League or a quarter-final of a Champions League or last 15 minutes against United, City, whoever, and make a difference when we get into the back end of it all. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's getting to that stage now where we can't rely on our first 11. We have to rely on the squad, and that squad is the people on the bench as well to be able to come in and make a difference. Look at the difference. Bar Dendonco, who's an absolute donkey. Aston Villa, every single one of Aston Villa's subs and made a difference. Like defensively, they came on, worked hard, cut out the danger.
Yeah.
Let them come on and pass us the ball back straight away. And I was thinking, God, give them the ball.
The thing is, they're going through a purple patch. They're going through like a Newcastle syndrome. But they're not as good as Newcastle. For me, they're nowhere near as good as Newcastle.
People started talking about the league, Aston in the league, yeah. Even Emery turned around and goes, no, just calm yourself down. We're in a good bit of form at the moment. This is because at the end of the day, if it comes to the crunch, Emery's picking that Europa League over the league.
Don't know about
he's picking the Europa League.
That's his baby, man. That's his baby.
2 games, 10 games, 100%. We've got to win these 2 games. That's it. We'll win it. Be in the Champions League next season.
Yeah. He's concentrating on Spartak Moscow. Don't worry.
100%. 100%. Some of the comments. The strategy to control possession and tire teams out to create space, but we're lacking the 3 or 4 attackers off the bench for the last 30. Needs backing in June. Eddie's not the answer. And I think MST, it's a good comment there. I think that's pretty much what we were saying there. We're getting to the stage now where, look, I think we were frustrated at the start of the season. We were a bit sort of worried about the way that we were playing. But as you get on, we're starting to realise that actually the pragmatism that we've got is actually, it has a lot of benefits. It is working. You're seeing the best defence in the league, one of the best defences in Europe. We don't concede many chances, full stop, let alone concede many goals. The goals that we are conceding seem to be coming from unforced errors, mistakes, which you can cut out of your game very easily. But it's that which you just mentioned there. It's the last 30 minutes. And Villa were tired in them last 30 minutes. And I thought we were going to be able to get something out of it. The next thing you know, I blink and it's the 89th minute. Because we didn't even do much. We didn't even create many chances. The chances that we did create, we should have scored. Erdegaard's one where it was cut back, and a couple of more, which I can't really remember too many of them. But that we need to be able to have an answer. We need to be able to stretch teams, and that's why I was saying Eddie for me is just very much a player who's very much down the middle. A 5 and a 6, a 5 and a 6, a 5 and a 6 out of 10. I would rather have someone who's a 3 at his first touch, but he's 20 pace. Because even going forward there, you've got quite a high line with Aston Villa. Eddie and Nketiah is getting to the ball to beat him for pace. He's not beating no one for pace. All them centre backs can catch him anyway. He's not got a burst of pace which is going to beat him. He's not got acceleration which is going to beat him. Like he's not going to beat him. He's not going to beat him with a trick. And then when he gets in front of goal, it's hit and miss. And it can't be that. It's when he gets in front of goal, he's a killer. He's not got the best of pace, but his positioning's great. And that's what we need to be talking about. That's what we need. Oh, he's excellent in the air. He's not excellent in the air. He's not excellent at finishing. He's not excellent. And we can't. It needs to be. We need to have some more players that are over this side. Last chance saloon. Cross comes into a box. It's not 100% you've got to score, but it's 100% you've got to work the keeper or put it on target. And he's got and their headers. You've got to put that on target, and that's why we come out of the game frustrated, because it's like we didn't probably deserve to win the game, but we had enough chances in that game to get something out of it and probably to sneak a win.
But we did. I think we deserved a draw. Do you know?
Yeah.
I think if you're Unai Emery, you're probably, if you're sitting in his office tonight and he's poured himself a glass of red wine, he's probably quite shocked how the puff Arsenal was.
Yeah.
You know why they didn't put him under more pressure, why they were looked, because really there wasn't, as I say, the most damning thing, we had so much possession, we had so much control in that second half. Aston Villa didn't look really for the taking, and Emery would have known this. He would have been trying to change things up.
He brought on Matty Cash, defender, Alex Monero, defender, Leandro Dendoncker, defender. He brought on Jacob Ramsey, midfielder, but he took off Tillemans, who was attacking midfielder. He's playing Tillemans as a 10.
Yeah.
And he brought on Mustard Diaby, so he brought on an attacking player for Leon Bailey. But Bailey,
I think he was injured.
Right.
He was injured. Yeah.
He didn't have a choice. He was injured. So all the changes he made were defensive. He knew, and that was from. And to be fair, it was pretty much as soon as they got that goal, that was it for them. They didn't want to go forward. They wanted to hit us on the break. And I said to my mates, this is Emery. This is classic Emery. Get that goal and hold up and hold it in. And you can't do that. We shouldn't be able to do that for 60, 70 minutes. Not against us.
Yeah. We just need. I think we lack punch today, and I think we need to do some business in January. I can definitely see. I've sort of pretty much saw it from the beginning of the season, and it probably took a lot of others to take some time. But I can see how Havertz is going to work in that 8. Because I think he's improved. He's been improving really a lot. And I think like in that midfield with Rice, Havertz, Partey if he stays, Jorginho, you got Odegaard there. Is Vieira up to standards? I hope so, mate. Still jury's a little bit out on him. But it was a shame about his injury. He still can be proven. He's still got to be given a chance. We're pretty good, but up front, mate, there's no like for like. If Jesus is having a bad game or he's injured, we can't. Trossard can't play down the middle. Eddie Nketiah can't play down the middle. We're not going to do anything like that. Nothing. You might as well forget the title. So you've got to get someone. You've got to bring someone in.
Yeah, well, for a team who, at the start of the season, there was a lot of talk about, I'm worried about this player not getting games. I'm worried about that player not getting games. I'm worried about this. And I said, it's a long season and there's a lot of games. Yeah, these players will get opportunities. The problem we have is with those players, they need to be available. One thing that, if you watch Mikel Arteta's press conference last week, it was for me, it was quite enlightening because I feel like he'd come out of a meeting with the powers that be above, and that meeting key word was availability, because the amount of times he said availability when he was talking about a player, and then when he was describing how a player were getting their chance, but there needs to be available, like it's an attribute. That's going to be key, and it's going to be key for the players that want to stay at Arsenal, the Vieiras, the Emil Smith Rowes, Thomas Parties. These are all players that would get into this team, will put up a challenge against anyone in this team. But the problem is they can't stay fit. There was talk at the start of the season with worrying about how Emil Smith Rowe will get in this team. And I want Emil Smith Rowe. And why can't Emil Smith Rowe play against Havertz? Well, as soon as Emil Smith Rowe gets an opportunity to be in this team, he's out for a month. Vieira, he's out for 3 months. Like, they need to be available. Availability is as much an important stat as pace. Because if you ain't available, you ain't running. They need to sort it out. And there's too many players in this team who, when it comes to the crunch, injuries happen. Jesus is on thin ice with that as well. Because he's, for the 18 months he's been here, he's probably been out for about 5-6 months, which is madness. So
there's no like, I don't think it's like, I mean, he knows what all those players are about that you just mentioned there. But you're spot on. It's because of their injury. There's no point having them if they're going to be injured all the time. Yeah. Do you know? And they're no use to him. They're no use to him. So and that was probably, Kieran Tierney. Do you know what I mean? He's don't know. Who knows? The door still might be open for Kieran Tierney. He's still an Arsenal player. So there's no definite that he's leaving the club yet. But it's also but then again, he's gone to Real Sociedad, and what's happened? He's got injured.
Yeah.
So it's like, it is a big thing, but that's the reason why Tierney was moved on anyway and put on loan, because he just can't be used. And look, as much as Tommy Ashew's been amazing recently, isn't he? He's been really good. He's been on form. He's looked great.
But part of it has been because he hasn't been injured.
But there's no coincidence, mate. We are seriously looking at Jeremy Frimpong. Big time. I can't emphasise how much, right? Arsenal fans, keep an eye. Right? But this guy is wanted by Arteta. And it makes perfect sense. Because Tommy Asu can't be relied on as a backup like that. And Ben White is not good defensively, and he can't invert. Arteta's ruthless. Do you know, sentiment has to be going out the window. We love Ben. We love Tommy. Do you know, we love Kieran. We love them all. We love Emil Smith Rowe. But I think because of where we want to go, they've got to be. I think they'll move on. They've got to be moved on.
It does seem harsh.
Moved on. I'm not moved on. I mean, like Smith Rowe possibly may have to be moved on. Unfortunately, but one of Ben White or Tommy Asu. Mind you, not Ben White. Tommy Asu may have to be moved on in the future. If he keeps up with this injury record, it looks like
it's getting to the point where these players, it's like we're getting notches. Another injury. That's 3 months. You're getting two notches for that one. But that's 5. If you get to 10, you're going to have to leave. Now, Tommy Asu's, I know this injury is only like a few weeks, touch wood, so it's okay. But if he has another long-term injury, if he has another injury where the thing with Tommy Asu, it could be a month. He'd come back and he'd have another injury off of the back of that injury. That's the thing. Jesus, same. He'll have a long 2-month injury, comes back, he's out for a month with another injury. And it's not about these players not being able to be available like when you need them, be available here and there. All right, we've got Nketiah, but Jesus is coming back next week. It's about being able to rely on them. It's about teams being built around these players and tactics built around the attributes of these players, and the players aren't there. That's the problem. And these teams are very much built on the attributes of the players. You change a type of player, you're changing the way you play. And that's how we're working. The difference between, for instance, Man City with a Sane and a Jack Grealish, they would have had to change the way they play to fit a Grealish in. Now, if Arsenal are doing that and they've got a Smith Rowe, and Smith Rowe is then out for 2 months, comes back, has another reoccurrence of that injury, we're out of sorts again. It's a big problem. We're in the stage where we were last season, where when Saliba goes out, we're at sea. We're all over the place. Let's quickly get on to the rest of these things. We've gone over an hour already. Leandro Trossard.
Yeah, he never did much when he come on, did he?
Mm-hmm.
You know, 4.
Yeah, I would have given him a 4 as well. I didn't think he just didn't do much. I thought he was poor. I thought there was a couple of times where he dilly-dallied on the ball in their box where he could have just released it a lot quicker. It just was not good at all for me today. Reece Nelson not on for very long. I think he was on for about 5 minutes. I think I'll give him a 5. Didn't do anything bad, but just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah, 4.
That header will live with me for the rest of the weekend. That's a problem because
look, we ain't done. We're not. It's not the end of the world here. Do you know what I mean? 1 point behind Liverpool, second. We would have taken that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we would have, but we were top of the league. And Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult, really.
Yeah, old Albert. We call it AirPod Albert.
Yeah. Bad boy, Mikel celebrating. What a disgrace to the football game. But I mean, 6. I mean, we don't know really what I mean. Okay, look, he picked the team. I thought it was good. I think it was a good side. You know, he didn't get the team wrong. I just think players let him down. I don't think he's going to be an happy man tonight. I think he's going to
bursting out. Yeah,
I'll show
you. I'll show you. He's not happy.
Right.
He left in a.
This team has a sense of the back fours.
He's had enough.
The work for Unai Emery throughout this team.
He's had enough.
Yeah.
And that was still a minute to go.
Yeah. No, they you know, it's not often we can say that Arsenal players let us down today, but I think, you know, this one they did. Do you know what I mean? Or they just didn't. They wasn't up to their normal standards. I don't know what it was, but yeah. It's hopefully they can look. They've got like a rest now, really, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? We've got like a dead rubber in the week against PSV.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just play the kids. Just put the kids out there, second team, and you know, that doesn't mean anything. It's not risking any injuries. And let's more important that we win the next one against Brighton than the PSV one.
5:45 kickoff on Tuesday. It'll be a bit of a difficult one. That one on my way back from work at that time. Arsenal versus Brighton on Sunday. It's a tough run. Look, Arsenal versus Brighton on Sunday at home, followed by Liverpool on the 23rd at Anfield. Then
we'll probably talk more Tuesday about Brighton, but they're not the team they were.
They're not, and that's why I do say with people about this talk of because a lot of people like to make comparisons with Mikel Arteta and say, look what our manager's done in a year and your manager's done in 3. Prime example, Erik ten Hag. If people want to slow down, do people want to slow down when they use that same comparison? You can keep on comparing your teams with Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, but then the following season you end up in an absolute mess. De Zerbi, not quite the same, but there was a lot of talk about De Zerbi and how he's done such a great job at Brighton, and he has. But the start of the season, what was it? Second or third game of the season, 5-1 loss to Villa or Newcastle, wherever it was, getting their asses handed to them. And old Ange. Yeah. So we'll see what he says next season.
Yeah, they've got a bit of Leicester about them, haven't they, Brighton? Brighton have got a little bit of Leicester about them. You know, if someone said to you in 3 years' time, Leicester would be in the Brighton would be in the championships, you wouldn't put your ass on it. Do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't. And I'd be laughing at the Brighton fans who try to plug us off and say Arsenal are a banter club. And I thought,
we're a banter club.
Having a laugh. Are you having a laugh?
What can they banter us over the last few years?
You have one bad season and you're back in the championship. We have a bad season and we finish not even mid-table. We still finish in Europe. Yeah. Brighton have a bad season. They're playing teams like Peterborough and Rochdale. Like, get in the bin. What are you talking about? Stay in your lane.
Oh, yeah.
All right. On that note, thank you very much for everyone who's joined tonight. Galvo, Simon, Stu, Russ. That's not even a name. Someone from Twitch. Thank you very much for joining us today. There. Thank you very much for joining us, Steve.
Yep. Cheers, mate. Pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Make sure you join us for on Tuesday. Like I said, it's going to be a struggle to get to that game, but we will be doing a show on Tuesday at 8 o'clock to discuss everything Arsenal and obviously the result against PSV. Hopefully we get to see Aaron Ramsdale in there and some other players that are on the fringe, on the verge, and hopefully they can show their worth and make these selection dilemmas a lot tougher for Mikel Arteta.
Is that the time it's on Wednesday then?
Kicks off
It's Wednesday,
Tuesday.
isn't it?
Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday? I thought it was Wednesday.
No,
Okay.
Tuesday the 12th, 5:45. Yeah, I don't know why we've got the early one. It's only in Holland.
Yeah, they do that, didn't they? Though Holland,
I
I don't know. They like an early one, didn't they? I don't know why.
All right. Thanks for your time. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.